Hey, it's Coach Latham, your Algebra 1 SOL coach, and today we're going to be doing Lesson 1, using your calculator to evaluate expressions and solve linear equations. This is our first lesson of the year, and we just want to get used to using some of the functions on the calculator. The first thing that you're going to need to do whenever you use your calculator is to reset. And we're going to start by hitting the second button and then the memory key. We're going to reset the memory. It's number 7. And then we're going to reset all RAM. So we hit enter and we tell it to reset one more time. And we want to get to this screen where it says RAM cleared. When we're solving equations and graphing, we typically want to be in the zoom integer mode. You'll have to scroll down on your phone to get to option 8 under zoom. Always hit enter twice after this. And for my geometry students out there, you'll always want to check to make sure that you're in degree mode. Hit the mode button. The degree function is right down here next to radian, so scroll on down until you get degree highlighted. Hit enter, and now you hit second and quit, and you're on your main screen and ready to go. The nice thing about using your calculator is that it can just do a lot of the rudimentary calculations for you. Say, for example, we're going to evaluate this expression over here, and evaluate simply means that we're going to get the variable replaced by a given value. We're going to evaluate 4 times negative 3 minus 3x when x is 2. So we're going to take this 2 and we're going to put it right in place of that x, so it's going to be 3 times 2. We'll come over and just do it in our calculator. It's going to be 4 times negative 3, close your parenthesis for that, minus 3, and now 3x means 3 times 2, so we're going to go 3 times 2, hit enter, and it's easily done. The answer is negative 18. I've got some practice problems here for you to do. Go ahead and hit pause and then work these on your calculator. I'll go ahead and do number 4 this time. We're going to replace x by 7, so when we put this into the calculator, we're going to open parentheses, and instead of the x, we put the 7 there, plus 3, close parentheses, that dot means times, 5 minus 500. And then hit enter, and our answer is negative 450. Go ahead and check all your other answers. We have them all here. Simple fractions are easy for your calculator. You just type them in like division problems. So when we're going to type in 27 over 9 plus 2/3 minus 5 times 3, we just simply say 27 divided by 9, and that's what that fraction looks like in your calculator, plus 2 divided by 3, that's 2/3 in your calculator, minus 5 times 3. So now we've typed in this expression, we hit enter, and the answer is negative 11.3 repeating. Now, one of the reasons I love the calculator is that it will take any decimals and convert them to fractions in lowest terms. So while you have this answer on your screen, you go up and you hit the math button and then hit enter twice, and it will convert that into a fraction in lowest terms, and we see our final answer is negative 34 over 3. This is much easier than doing it by hand. Now I've got three practice problems for you to try here. Go ahead and hit pause and try all 3 of these problems on your calculator. Make sure all your answers, if you get them in the form of a decimal, are converted to fractions. I'll do number 2 for you this time. So we've got 3 over 5, so I'm going to type in 3 divided by 5 times 15 minus 2x. Now, x in this case is 3, so I'm going to put 2 times 3 and hit enter, and the answer is 3. We'll go ahead and check your other answers. Here's what we get for each of them. Now, all the problems we've done so far with fractions have had just one number on top and one number on the bottom. This fraction right here, on the top we have x plus 3, which is going to be negative 5 plus 3. Whenever there's more than one term on either the top or the bottom of the fraction, you have to work out the top by itself and the bottom by itself. Now here's my foolproof method to do it. Go ahead and clear your screen, and then let's go ahead and do the top. It's going to be negative 5 plus 3. Hit enter. And now the answer for the top is right here, negative 2. The bottom is 2x, so it's going to be 2 times negative 5, and hit enter. So here is the answer for the bottom. You've got the answer for the top, the answer for the bottom, so go ahead and do negative 2 divided by negative 10. Hit enter. We get the decimal answer. Hit math, enter, and it converts it to a fraction in lowest terms. The answer is 1/5. All right, I've got 3 problems for you to try. We're evaluating these 3 fractions when x is equal to 10 and y is equal to 5. So go ahead and hit pause and try all 3 problems. All right, we're back. This time I think I'll do number 2. It looks interesting. I'll clear out what I have on the fraction on my calculator. The top of the fraction says x plus y. Well, if x is 10 and y is 5, then x plus 5 is going to be, x plus y is going to be 10 plus 5. So I type that in, and I get 15 for the top of the fraction. The bottom of the fraction says x minus y. So that's going to be 10 minus 5. I'll type in 10 minus 5. And I get 5. So here's the answer for the top of the fraction. Here's the answer for the bottom of the fraction. So I put them together, 15 divided by 5, and my final answer is 3. Here are the other answers. And go ahead and check your work, and let's move on. Your calculator can also help you by easily calculating powers. Every power has 2 parts. You have the base, which is the bigger number on the bottom, and then you have the exponent, which is the little number up at the top that tells you how many times the base is multiplied by itself. The scary thing or the tricky thing about calculating powers on your calculator is that you need to make sure that if you ever have a negative base, like right here where it says y is negative 2, that you put that in parentheses. We're going to go ahead and put both of these in parentheses, and we'll walk right through it. So x is 3, so we're going to type in open parenthesis 3, and then we're going to raise that to the second power. Now you've got 2 ways to do it. You can hit this one, the x squared button, and I'll go ahead and do it on this one, and then I'll show you the other way on the next one. Plus, and then we're going to do y squared, and y is negative 2, so it's open parenthesis negative 2. We need the parentheses here to get the right answer. This time, instead of hitting the x squared button, I'm going to hit the up arrow. And now I can put the exponent right there. I'm going to put the 2 in, and I use the right arrow to get out of that function. And I still have to put the plus 5 on the end. So now I have this expression correctly typed into the calculator. I hit enter, and the answer is negative 18. So I've got 2 problems for you to do right here. We're going to practice on these. I want you to evaluate both of these expressions given that x is negative 2. That means that you've got to put negative 2 in parentheses whenever you replace the base of a power. Go ahead and hit pause and give it a try. All right, we're back. I'll go ahead and do number 1 for you this time. Again, x is negative 2, so we're going to put negative 2 in parentheses and raise it to the 5th, so I go up to the 5th power, and then I have to hit the right arrow to get out of it. Otherwise, it will keep putting things up here as exponents. Minus 5 times whatever x is. I'm going to put it in parentheses again because it's going to get raised to a power, so there's my negative 2, and this time I'm squaring it, so I'll just go over and hit this button. So now I've got negative 2 raised to the 5th minus 5 times negative 2 raised to the 2nd. I hit enter, and my answer is negative 52. The other answer that you should have gotten was negative 208. Well, when you see problems that look like these with radical symbols on them, then you know the calculator truly is your friend because it's going to make these problems pretty easy for us to do. The only thing that you really need to know is where to find the square root and the cube root symbols, and we'll just walk through. I'll go ahead and do problems number 2 and number 4 for you, and then you can come back and do 1 and 3. So let's start with problem number 2. The cube root of 27. Now the cube root button is up here under math. So hit math, and if you look right down here at number 4, you've got it for cube root. So just hit 4, and then it comes back to the main screen for you, and it has the cube root right there. So we're going to put a 27 on the inside of it, and then just like we were doing before, we have to go right arrow to get out of it. So there we have the cube root of 27. To finish this problem, it was a cube root of 27 plus 3. We'll hit enter, and the final answer is going to be 6. I'll move down to number 4 now and work that one out for you. We start number 4 out with -5, and then it's times the square root of 81. Well, the square root of 81, or the square root symbol, is not on the math screen. It's this little blue one right above the x squared. So to get to that, you hit the second and then the x squared button, and that puts the square root symbol on your screen. Well, this is the square root of 81, so we'll put the 81 on the inside and then get out. We still need to do plus 40. And so now we have problem number 4 correctly typed into your calculator. We hit enter, and the answer is -5. So go ahead and hit pause and do problems 1 and 3. We already had 2 and 4 done, but here are the answers to 1 and 3. And the last function I'm going to show you in terms of evaluating things on your calculator is the absolute value function. These vertical lines right here mean absolute value. That means that whatever you get when you work out the inside part, it's just going to be non-negative. So how can I resist doing number 2? That one looks like fun. So I'll do number 2 for you. It's open parentheses, 6 minus, and then we're going to put in our absolute value symbol right here. So we're going to hit math and then go over to number, and it's that very top one that says ABS. Hit enter, and it takes you back to your regular screen, and you have the absolute value symbols in there. Now, x is going to be 2 for this problem. We're evaluating when x is equal to 2, so we're going to type in 2 minus 2. Well, that seems like that's going to be pretty boring, but then we get out and we close our parentheses and we're squaring it. So this time I'll just use the x squared button right here, and then we also need to do plus 5. So now I have that one typed in correctly. I hit enter, and the answer is 41. So hit pause and see if you can do the other two. Okay, we're back, and here are the answers to the other two. Now we're going to change gears just for a second, and we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but I do want to show you how your calculator can help you solve equations. When you get an equation, a really complicated one like this one over here, you simply divide the equation into 2 parts and you graph it. Now when you graph it, you're going to use this y equals button right up here, and we're going to type in the left side of this equation on the top. Now you've got 3x minus 8 on the top, and since we don't know what x is, we can't work out the top and then divide by 2, so we're going to have to group the top together. So we go open parenthesis 3, and then here's our x button when we're solving equations, minus 8, close parentheses, and then to finish that fraction, we're going to hit divided by 2. So this is the left side of the equation. We use the down arrow, type in the right side of the equation. It's going to be 2, open parentheses, 5, there's our x, minus 8, close parentheses, minus 5. Now the next thing we're going to do is hit graph, and hopefully our picture will turn out just right. You'll have to practice as much with this as you can when you're solving equations to zoom in and zoom out. But what we're going to do right now is hit trace, and we're going to move this little bug to where we think the 2 lines cross, and that looks pretty good right there. I'll hit the up arrow to see if it stays the same on both lines, and since it does, my answer is x equals 2. Some people don't like moving their bug around and trying to get it in just the right place. An alternative method would be to hit the second button and then the graph, and you'll get a table. And on this table, if you can find the place where the 2 y numbers are the same, like right here we've got -1, -1, we look over here and x is equal to 2. I've got some practice problems for you right here. Go ahead and hit pause and give those a shot. All right, we're back and we're out of time. Here are the 3 answers. You can check your work with your teacher. We'll certainly spend more time on solving equations on your calculators later in this year. So I hope this has helped. Good luck to you, and we'll see you in lesson 2.